welcome back to the Foreplay channel. I'm Bella.
I'm Jase. Before we jump into today's topic, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and comment down below if you guys have any questions or any videos that you want us to talk about. But those likes, comments, and subscriptions really help us out, and we really appreciate it. So now let's jump into today's video.
Today's video is going to be about how to introduce your partner to the swinging lifestyle. One of the questions we get asked most often is, how do I convince my partner to start swinging? Do not use that terminology. The word convince is a red flag term. You never want to convince anybody. You can never convince anybody into doing anything. So I think what they're trying to say is, how do I introduce my partner? How do we start this conversation? So don't ever say convince. Don't do that. No!
Going right along with that, you never want to pressure anybody either. So you want to have a good conversation about it, but you also don't want to ever put a pressure about it. You want it to always just come off in a natural, nice conversation way where you're communicating about it, but no pressure. The first thing we always recommend couples to do together is take the sexual compatibility quiz. We have it on our newbie guide page, so we'll link it right here. And you can go take that together. You take it separately, and then it compares your answers, and it shows where you guys overlap sexual wise, and it shows maybe you guys have this fantasy that can be comparable, or it kind of gets the conversation going, and it lets you both discuss fantasies you have in a safe space because you both fill out a quiz that lets you show what your preferences are.
And it might bring up things that you never thought you were really interested in, so it opens up the conversation that way too. After doing that quiz, if both of them say that you are both interested in non-monogamy or like threesomes, foursomes, whatever it is, whatever the quiz says, then you can start talking about more in depth about that. If for some reason one person says they are and the other person says they aren't, you can still bring that up and discuss which fantasies didn't overlap, but maybe why you are interested in that fantasy, and that can still open the door to have those conversations about ethical non-monogamy or swinging in general.
Just remember though, this is all about you guys together. If your partner's not interested in it, it's not something that you want to, I said, pressure them to do. Maybe at that time it's just not right for your relationship and you talk about it later. Or you know what, maybe it's not ever right for your relationship, and that just may be how it is. But the biggest priority is always your partner and connecting with your partner and just having those open lines of communication. You also really want to bring it up to your partner in a way where they know that they are enough for you. You don't want it to ever seem like you're bringing this into your relationship because you're missing something. It's all about bringing something extra to the table, and you can talk about, hey, this is why I think it'd be good for our relationship. It could help us in this way, this way, and this way. But make sure your partner knows that they are enough for you. It's just bringing something fun and additional into your relationship.
Know that you really cannot communicate too much. You really want to open up these conversations and really talk in depth with these things. You want to be honest with each other. You want to be able to trust each other completely. You want to be able to have these conversations first, knowing that this is a safe space. You want to have these conversations in like a judgment-free zone. So you maybe put that on the table first and just say that at the beginning and say, hey, whenever we're having these conversations, just know that these are all hypothetical things. These are all things that I may be interested in. It's not like you are going out and doing these things yet at that point in time. So just make sure it's safe, make sure it's judgment-free, make sure you guys aren't getting mad at each other just for having these open conversations.
If the conversations are going really well, you guys are both seeming like you're on the same page, you're kind of interested in ethical non-monogamy, a couple steps that we recommend to do together is, there's a few different ways, but we love to listen to podcasts together. That way you can hear experiences people have had, kind of know some things that maybe people have gone through.
We have our own podcast. It's called the Foreplay Podcast. We talk about all of our experiences from the beginning of our lifestyle journey all the way up until now. And then we do Q&As and everything too. Some of the other podcasts that we really like, that really helped us on our journey also was The Curious Couple, That Couple Next Door, Room 77, Wanderlust Swingers. Those are all really good ones. Swinger Diaries is a really good one too. And so try out all of those. We recommend to listen either separately and then talk about them together, or you can listen to them together and then it opens up conversations and questions that you might have not thought of before.
Another option kind of similar to that is Playboy had a show on Playboy TV a while back. There's no new episodes anymore, but it was called Swing, and basically it was a couple that would go into a house with a bunch of swingers and they would teach them all about it, and some couples had experiences, but it just showed some of the ins and outs of that. So that's another thing you could watch and see people's first experiences and also talk off of that and see like, hypothetically, maybe this would be fun. Hypothetically, maybe this would be fun. And just know that those rules can always change with time, but it kind of gives you a starting point to start those conversations. With those boundaries, you're going to want to come up with things that are, hey, there's no way that we'd ever want to do this. At least at this current time, we would never cross past this line, but I think we'd be okay with this. So know those things can change, but you're gonna want to find those boundaries that work for you in that current time, and just make sure that you're always respecting your partner and yourself by following those boundaries.
The way that you can come up with these rules and boundaries, other than listening to the podcast or watching the shows, is having pillow talk together in bed, maybe like right before you are gonna do spicy stuff, maybe you have like dirty talk, stuff like that. And for an example, you can say something like, hey, do you think it would be hot if I did this? Do you think it would be hot if you saw me do this? I think it would be hot if I saw this and this. So those are kind of some of the conversations that you can start.
After you've had all those hypothetical talks and kind of feel like you maybe have an idea of what you would want to do, we recommend making a couple's profile together on one of the dating sites. We personally like the dating sites a lot more than the apps because people pay for those and they tend to be a little bit more serious, and we liked the aspect of having people that were more serious and not getting stood up quite as much, and that tends to help with that. But make a profile together. If you guys want a little bit more details on how to make a profile, make sure to leave a comment down below. We can make a full video on that, but that's kind of a whole video in itself. But setting up a profile together, I think, is the next best step.
After you make a profile together, you can try putting yourselves in a swinger atmosphere. So that can either be going to a meetup that you find on some of the dating sites. That's another reason why we really recommend the dating sites, is because you're going to find different ways to network and different parties, different meetups that way, what clubs are available, which clubs are close to you, who's going. There's going to be guest lists on there that you can like put yourself on the guest list so you know who's coming. You can make some connections beforehand, but you can go to these swinger events, whether that be, again, a meetup at a normal bar or a club or a hotel takeover, whatever it is, whatever you think you would feel more comfortable with. We even know some people who their very first one is they go to a swinger resort or they go on a swinger cruise and they love it. But just putting yourself in that atmosphere and being able to experience and kind of see everything and take it all in, and just know that you don't have to be doing anything. And being in that atmosphere is going to make it feel sexy and fun and open, again, even more conversations to see what you both would be comfortable with doing.
It's also really awesome because if you want to go and talk to people, you definitely can. I mean, obviously you can sit and watch and just kind of see where everything is going. But if you go up and talk to people, you can make some friends. You can always ask people questions that maybe have a little bit more experience than you. And then that way you can kind of see what other people are doing, and it gives you more ideas for what you guys might like in the future.
When you do go to a club, go to one of these events, know that you don't have to put yourself out there either. If you just want to stay together and, again, just take it all in and see, you can definitely do that. No one is going to pressure you into doing anything. You are not pressured. You are not expected to go talk to people if you don't want to talk to people. Some people will probably come up to you and say hi. Just know that it should always be some type of friendship first. It's not like you're going to go in, people are going to pounce on you and like want to sleep with you right away. That's like not how the lifestyle works at all.
In general, you're just going to want to be really patient through this whole process, whether it's going to a club or trying to find the connections on the dating websites. It takes time. You're not just always going to find the perfect couple for you right away. So just be patient about it and know that it's always worth taking the time to find the right couple. You never want to jump into something whenever you're really not ready, or because you're like, oh, well, I don't know if we're gonna get another chance. Make sure that you find the right couple for you, because that's gonna make your experience great, and having that connection and trust is what's gonna make you feel safe. And it's really important to have like a good first experience, because we felt like if we would have had a negative first experience, it would have totally altered how we see everything. But because we had a really great couple for our first experience, we were able to move forward and have a really great time in this dynamic.
Remember, your relationship is your first priority. This is just sprinkles on top of the cake. And that's something that whenever you're bringing it up to your partner, you really want to let them know and make them understand that.
So now you guys are ready. That is the steps that we would take to introduce it to your partner, and then kind of take those steps hand in hand together to get to your next level of the relationship. Just know that with time, rules will change, your dynamics will change, but just keep communicating that, and you're gonna be able to take those next steps together, because you guys are each other's priority, and that's what's gonna make the most difference. If you're looking for more newbie tips, we have a lot of options. We have another just newbie guide video that has some really good advice on how to start. We have a newbie guide on our website that's linked right here. and that will have some more written out stuff and some other really, really good resources. We also have a blog post about it. So there's just a bunch of different ways you can find out some more information when you're first getting started. But hopefully this video helped answer some of those questions on how you're gonna get started in it together.
Thank you guys so much for watching our video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really, really helps out the channel, really, really, really a lot. And make sure you leave a comment below. Let us know what other types of videos that you want to see. Maybe leave some tips down for other people who are newer into this. Maybe you've already been in this for a while, and we can open the conversation in the comments as well. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.